Hello there, my name's Helen Noble, celebrant of Surrey and founder of Swan Song, and welcome to this week's Ceremonial Goodness. But it's pre-ceremony, it's proposal. Where do you start? So, interestingly, post-COVID, we are 50% more likely to propose spontaneously. That's exciting, because actually, in a poll in 2020, this time in 2020, so just before Valentine's, there was a statistic that said 83% of us, those doing the proposing, felt pressured to make it a unique experience. That breaks my heart a little bit. But the encouraging thing is, post-COVID, over 50% are more likely to propose spontaneously. Now, exciting as that is, one of the biggest mistakes is to propose empty-handed. Because actually, what message does that send your other half? That you've done it on a whim, that you're not very good at planning, that you don't really mean it, that it just speaks volumes if you propose without a ring. I'm not saying you have to propose with the ring. I've literally had so many couples be proposed to with a twig that's been made into a ring, because as they've been walking along, the urge has come and they've gone, do you know what, this is so perfect, I can't not do it. And they had the ring like back at the house, or they hadn't even bought it. And they picked a bit of twig off a hedge, wrapped it round and made it into a ring and proposed. So they weren't empty-handed, they had thought about it, they'd been creative, and they'd seized the day. Happy days, she said yes. Whoop, whoop. I've had other couples that have been proposed. Their story was it was a Haribo ring, all good. There was another one. He'd done something like he'd been in Sainsbury's and was like, oh my god, I've got to do it. And because Sainsbury's now have Argos, he just bought like a holding ring. But again, didn't propose empty-handed, made the effort, did the element of surprise, seized the day, and she got 2 rings. So I love that over 50% will spontaneously propose, but the word of warning there is do not do it empty-handed. Have some kind of ring. Make it yourself, jump into a jeweler's, grab a twig. But have something to present. Point 1. Point 2, with that pressure of, I think it was 83% feeling it had to be a unique experience, just kind of let that one go, take that one off your shoulders, just take it away. It's going to obviously sit there and make an impression on you, but what is it that unique means to you? Because actually, everyone's unique. Your relationship is unique. How you're going to propose, whether it's planned or spontaneous, is unique. And you 2 people are unique. So it's going to be unique. But of course, social media, all these things, like balloons everywhere, sunset, turkey with hot air balloons on the veranda looking spectacular. I mean, amazing if you're going to go for it, fabulous, but do not feel pressured, because the best proposal stories I've heard are the ones where it's just been so soul felt, and sometimes they have been the spontaneous ones, but it's where the person proposing, this is the important point, the person proposing has thought about their other half, what their other half likes, not what they like. So, for example, if you're the person thinking of proposing and you love being in the woods and walking and having wellies on and going for a good old stomp around the woods, but actually your other half would much rather have a spa day, dressing down and mooch around in slippers, then you proposing in the woods, it becomes all about you, and you're proposing to them. What do they love? How are you going to make them happy? Not saying you don't make yourself happy, but for the purpose of proposing, you do what makes them happy for that moment. Obviously, the best relationship is a balance, but for that moment, their best day is not your best day, because your best day is them saying yes. So what do they love? So that was the second point. First point, be spontaneous if you want, don't worry about it. Second point, have a ring. Third, don't do it empty-handed. Third point, make it about them, their best place, their happy moment, what means something to them. Fourth point, practice. I say this for my couples with wedding vows, because you can read it, you can write it, but actually when you say it out loud, those words like bubble up and you get that, oh, I'm going to cry, and you fall to pieces, which is fine, but you actually do want to get the words out. So do practice. Now, for a lot of people, they might think they haven't proposed for a while because they're procrastinating, and that gives a kind of negative vibe to it. It's not necessarily procrastinating. It might be you're what's called incubating. You're thinking on it, it's running around your head, you're going through the words that you're going to say, you're feeling it in your soul, and actually you're incubating. You're not putting it off. You're not procrastinating. The positive spin, so look through it through a different lens, is you're incubating. How to get it right? What makes you feel excited, a little bit nervous? Because it's a big question. It's a big question. So incubate and have a practice, because familiarity gives you security. So just keep practicing. Keep practicing. I think that was point 4. Slightly lost track. Point 5. If you have got the shiny, this is for life ring, please insure it before you propose. Because all sorts of shenanigans can happen. She can be like, oh my God, ah! And it just into the sand. Or you could be on a boat and you wobble and it falls in. So many things can go wrong. So if you have bought the shiny forever ring, lovely jubbly, please insure it before you traipse around the woods or go walking romantically on a beach or put yourself on a boat. That was my 5th point. My 6th point is keep your mouth shut a little bit before you do it, because as humans, we're not very good at keeping secrets. And when it's an exciting secret, we're even worse. We're even worse. Like literally no one can be like not giving you the, or have you done it yet? Or that phone call in the morning going, hi, just checking in. We're rubbish. So if you are going to be proposing and you're not doing that spontaneous one, and you've got the forever ring and you're going to do it in a box so that it's nice and secure, and you've insured it, then just sort of keep it to yourself a little bit, because someone somewhere just won't keep their mouth shut. So that is proposals. But I guess my big take-home message is to remember it's a question. That is my big take-home message. Remember it's a question. Will you marry me? Will you marry me? Will you promise to be then whatever you think marriage is? My one and only, to love me unconditionally. Will you take me as I am? I would love to marry you. It's a proposal. It's not an instruction. Marry me. No. Don't be telling people what to do. Remember it's a question, and remember it's about will. That is why the engagement ring is the shiny, sparkly one. I've actually got it on the other finger at the moment, because my big posh one is upstairs. That's why the engagement ring is very shiny and blingy, because it's enticing, it's pretty, it's you know, the hope and the excitement and the joy. You're like, oh, yes, 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 yes. So remember, it's a question. The engagement ring is the will. Are you willing? Would you choose to do this? Is this what you like? Do you want to do it? It's a question. The flip side of that is the vulnerability and the courage it takes to actually do it. You might be thinking, yeah, we're going to get married. Yeah, I think she'll say yes. I wonder if he'll say yes. I wonder if they'll ask. You still got that uncertainty, and therefore you still have that risk of rejection, and therefore you still have to have courage and be brave and get that other side of fear to move it on. Otherwise, you might just be not quite engaged for, I don't know, 7 years and then go, why aren't we married? And it maybe is because one of you haven't been brave enough. And if you're not brave enough with your chosen person, when are you brave enough? When are you brave enough? If you're not brave enough to put yourself out there and be vulnerable, when are you ever going to be brave enough? Because the world is not a certain place. Control doesn't really exist. So you may as well seize the day. If you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody because they light you up and make you happy and you want to be with them, then go ahead and ask. If they say no, take it on board and be like, is that a no, no, forever no? Or is that a no, just not quite yet no? Because then it might make you learn and grow and become bigger and better. You never know. It might break your heart and the whole thing's cancelled, but let's not go for that. But my big thing is, please remember it's a question. Please remember the person asking is probably feeling really vulnerable. It would have taken a lot of courage. They might have been incubating for ages. That incubating, possibly seen as procrastination stage, might be pressure from everything they're feeling, pressure from those 6 things that I spoke about. So take that all on board and think, oh, actually, that's taken quite a lot. And respect them for it. But even if it's a no, just be like, wow, well done. Like, crikey, that took some guts. But no. Or, yes, of course, thank you. Oh my God, you're a knight in shining armour. You're so brave. And yay. And that's why you haven't proposed, because you don't want to put yourself in that situation because it's really vulnerable. You might even be down on one knee. You might have people watching and you think, oh God, please say yes. And then you might be thinking, oh, thank God I didn't have to do that. So just have some sympathy for the person that is doing the proposing. And if you are doing the proposing, best of luck. It doesn't need luck. It needs truth, vulnerability, courage, a ring, because you don't want to do it empty-handed, a little element of surprise, because you don't want to tell the whole wide world before you tell your person, insurance, so you don't lose it. And that timeline can be spontaneous, like half of you are doing now post-COVID. So well done on that. Or it might be maybe a month. That's what you need. If you're going to get a ring, it might be that's what you need to get the ring sorted. But the people that have spent maybe 7 years incubating, come on, let's get to it. Will you marry me? It's a life-changing question. It's very important. Hopefully those little 6 tips have helped you. And good luck. Keep me posted for all things wedding ceremony from there on in, once the yes has happened. Find me on Instagram, on Pinterest, and here. Lots of love. Take care for now. I'll see you next week for Celebrant Goodness.